And unfortunately, I mean, we'll take our lumps on this. You know, hindsight is always 20/20. For reasons that were out of our control back then, this was when we had the highly publicized search for a distribution partner for Robotech: The Shadow Chronicles. This was when we were trying to get Robotech merchandising back up and running again. It was a very difficult process for us, and we didn't get the timing quite right. DC had finished Prelude to the Shadow Chronicles a good year before Robotech: The Shadow Chronicles actually came out on DVD. And so the end result of that was Prelude to the Shadow Chronicles had already gone in and out of print, and then the DVD came out, and then it was literally a bloodbath on the online auction sites where individual issues, I mean, I'm talking about the skinny 32-page comics, Prelude to the Shadow Chronicles were going for as much as $80 a pop. So, and we had trade paperbacks released. However, they were being released internationally, so of course we wanted to work out something for the American market. So we're working on it with DC Comics. DC Comics is actually one of our first licensees that is committed to releases for the 25th anniversary, specifically for the 25th anniversary. And we've got new trade paperbacks coming out next year. And at the top of the wish list for releases is, of course, Robotech Prelude to the Shadow Chronicles. And for this tie-in to the Shadow Chronicles movie, we're going to add in new material that hadn't been released before. And, of course, everybody loves the toys from Toonami. And they're on the exhibit floor. You can see them at booth 3229, I believe. Another product that went through an extremely long gestation period. It's like a lot of these products that we have released are very exciting, but it took us forever and a half to get some of them put together. One of them was the Beta Fighter. This was the holy grail of transforming mecha that at one time on eBay, I think it was $20,000, right? On eBay for Beta Fighter?
For which one?
The Gakken version, the Lansei Gakken.
Was it? Yeah, I thought it was just Lansei.
I think it was a Lansei Gakken.
Yeah, it was 20,000.
And so, of course, there's definitely a market for that, and that beta was actually not that good of a toy because it was actually at a very small scale. So one of the things Toonami had done was they had been sculpting, working on a full transforming 155 scale beta to link up with the Alpha Fighter that had already been released. And one of the problems was the toy was so expensive at that scale that they were going to make it. They were looking at it, they were afraid that it was going to be such a short production run for such a large toy that would cost upwards of $250. Nobody would be able to buy it, you know, at that price point. And then what happened was finally they teamed up with the Japanese company Aoshima, because what happened was with Robotech: The Shadow Chronicles, all of a sudden there was interest in Maspida, or the new generation toys again in Japan. And so merging the Japanese and the US markets, they were finally able to get the minimum market to manufacture this. And that enabled them to cut the price down to $150. And lo and behold, it was a huge hit. And so now they're doing all the colors. They've got the blue one, the red one, the green one. They're doing the Shadow Fighter beta. And one of the things that they've also done is, in one of their prototypes, you'll notice here, they've even sculpted a synchro cannon to mate to the Shadow Beta Fighter, as seen in Robotech: The Shadow Chronicles. Just a little unscientific survey here. How many of you know what a synchro cannon is and want one? Okay. You guys have not been watching enough New Generation. And of course, the hottest new release that they've got coming out now is the Masterpiece Cyclones. Last year we had small-scale Cyclones released. They were reasonably priced at about the $60 price point, and they were a huge hit. And so now they're making the Masterpiece Cyclone in a much larger scale. I believe this is the largest scale so far, which is 1/10 scale. And they've gone so far as to have the outfit, some parts of the outfit, made of actual fabric. And the most recent variant to come out was actually Rand, and I believe that one sold out instantly from Robotech.com.
Actually, we did get it restocked, so
okay.
They're available.
You snooze, you lose. They're on Robotech.com, so if they run out again, you've been warned. And another masterpiece release that we had scheduled earlier that we've been getting questions about is Maya Sterling. This is our one masterpiece tie-in from Robotech to Shadow Chronicles. We actually had some issues with the manufacturers where Toynami actually had a factory rush this product, and unfortunately all sorts of manufacturing problems in the product. And there were also some Aoshima releases in Japan that had manufacturing problems. One of the things that they decided to do was, after all from this, one factory that has been delivering really well has been the factory that has been producing the Beta Fighter. So they've actually moved production of this toy to the Beta Fighter factory. And so this toy is actually going to be re-released later this year with all the corrections to the design. And of course, many of you are old school Macross fans, even though we've moved on to Shadow Chronicles and the new generation. There's nothing that beats the classic VF1, and this is what Steve is holding up right here. It's a limited release that Toynami has, limited to 1,000 units, just Comic-Con only. And I asked George Sun if he thinks the inventory is going to last through this weekend. So you've been forewarned. It's at booth 3229. And one nice thing about this package is it's got the strike armor package with the cannons, and so it's both the transforming VF1 and the super armor all packaged together. So instead of having to buy it separately, you've got one nice bundle right here. And one of the big questions we've always gotten from fans is, now that we've got all the hero transforming mecha, well, visit Toynami's exhibit booth 3229. They actually have a prototype of the battle pod that's going to be released soon. So we've got that toy coming out very soon. So that gets us to the question, now that we've got all the present new releases out of the way, what else is in store for Robotech? Well, when Robotech The Shadow Chronicles was a big, huge home video hit, one of the things that it did was it put a lot of pressure on us. The follow-up to Robotech The Shadow Chronicles, which is Robotech Shadow Rising, was now the flagship product. This was going to be the product that was going to lead all new Robotech merchandising and licensing. So this was essentially going to be the future of Robotech. And so we were under a lot of pressure to release this product as possible. However, of course, within the last year or so, we had an interesting development come out from left field. And so we had another partner actually come to us, and this was amazing, this whole experience to us. From the year 2000, when, in the aftermath of Robotech 3000, we had thought that Robotech licensing had kind of hit a wall. We've slowly built it back. We've gone through gradually larger and larger distribution companies, from ADV to Funimation, and now we've just about reached a peak with Warner Brothers Pictures. And so we're going to give you a little bit of an update on our live-action film. We first announced it. This was our first Comic-Con announcement last year, and so we'll give you an update of where we're at right now. Right now, the production team, the folks that we added to the production team, is Akiva Goldsman. This gentleman actually holds 2 Academy Awards for Best Screenplay. Now, I know there are some people who say, they remember that Akiva worked on Batman and Robin a long time ago. And of course, because I was not involved in that production. I don't know about that production. Who knows whether, was that Akiva? Was that Joel Schumacher? Who knows? But the thing is, since then, since Batman and Robin came out, he has, in fact, gotten an Oscar for Cinderella Man. He's done Hancock. He's produced Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I Am Legend. I mean, huge science fiction and action hits. And so obviously at this point, he's pretty much redeemed himself. And as an executive producer on this project, considering that he's also been capable of producing monster hits like Da Vinci Code, we're really encouraged by having him involved in the project. And also, one longtime producer we have attached to the project is Jason Netter. Of course, some of you might remember him from Robotech 3000, but the thing is, same situation. He's